Hey guys, this is Alex Chamberlain. I'm giving you another low budget iPhone video with some high quality content. So stick around. So today, I'm not going to do a review on the Megatower, but I wanted to tell you guys about some of the features on this bike and some stuff I like, some stuff I don't. So let's hop into it. The reason I pretty much bought this bike was for this little feature right here. It's adjustable chainstay length. So you can go from 435 to 445. And honestly, when you're riding a size large, size XL, size double XL, having that longer chainstay is so necessary. I've gone over it a million times how it's ridiculous how most bikes have the same chainstay for different front ends. So that means all those bikes have a different center of gravity and they will handle completely differently. So for me, I wanted a really long rear end, not really long. 445 is not even that long, but then it's a 470 front end. So it's kind of close. It just brings me back to when I was riding a Yeti SB6, the front end was 445 and the rear end was 442. So it was a very neutral handling bike. It really helps in the corners and just makes your bike, honestly, it's still pretty playful. Like you have a short, I wouldn't say short front end, but you don't have an extremely long front end that's making it really awkward. So you just have a neutral, balanced, fun bike when you have a little longer chainstay on those bigger sizes. But obviously, if you were smaller or medium, the 435 chainstay length is perfectly appropriate. But it's cool that you can play with it and they give you that adjustment. But a few complaints about the adjustment are that I think this is the only axle you can get currently. And I actually asked, I think, Worldwide Cyclery if there was any Maxle or any just one I can thread in with a bolt. And they said it doesn't currently exist right now. So that's a bummer. This actually, over the course of like 2-3 rides, it will loosen up just like a quarter turn, if I can even turn it. Yeah, it'll loosen up to there, and I don't know, it's just concerning that it loosens up kind of slightly. But then also this adjustment, this is actually held in by a grub screw. It's like a 2mm grub screw, and it has come loose. Obviously not falling out, but maybe after 2 weeks of riding, it has come a little loose. So I either need some better Loctite on that grub screw or yeah, it's just a mild annoyance. So one really cool thing about the chainstay adjustment is actually how they mounted this brake. They rotate the caliper on an angle because this is normally a 180 post mount caliper mount, I guess you would call it. And then you have to use a 200 or 203 mil rotor for the long chainstay adjustment. Since this goes 10 millimeters back, it increases the rotor size or rotor radius by 10 millimeters. So basically this is still the same mount. You just rotate it a little bit and it fits perfectly. So I didn't explain that as well as I could have, but it's a really cool design and really simple and not complex. So it's pretty cool how they did that. So while we're back here, let's check out the chainstay protector. This is huge. Specialized is the only other company I know currently that is giving you a dialed chain protector from the factory. So this bike is super quiet. I know it doesn't have the 3-rib design like the Specialized, but I was amazed with how quiet it is, especially stock. If you look at any other bike I've had, I have all sorts of mastic tape crap going on up here. So that was great to see. And moving forward, we have the threaded bottom bracket, which I know everyone loves. There's not a lot of people who hate on it. There's definitely people who hate on press fit bottom brackets. I don't hate press fit bottom brackets. But thread fit made it very easy to install. With the SRAM dub bottom bracket, there was a ton of clearance back here, but as you can tell with the BB30, it is so tight. It was actually not touching, but I thought it was good to shave this down. It was only this one notch, but I had to shave it down just to give it some extra clearance because I was kind of terrified of how close it got. So it's definitely one thing to consider. I did have a Chris King bottom bracket ready for this bike, but it actually didn't fit at all. So not even if I shaved it down. So just something to think about. BB30 is very tight on this bike. But I did do that because I moved to the race face cranks. I just wanted to get off the SRAM stuff and I sold the SRAM stuff on another bike. So that's where we're at. And then from here, another really cool feature, you have a high and low setting. Pretty much all my buddies are riding it in high. I've actually only tried high, just because, I don't know, I don't like low bottom brackets at all, or I don't like too low bottom brackets, and already this bike is almost too low in the high setting. But it helps the bike be a little bit more plush with the air shock. It's not as progressive, so you can get the progressivity out of the spacers instead. But when you get in the low position, it's more suited for the coil shock, and it has a more bottom out resistance. So a lot of people running the coil are liking the low position. A lot of people running the air are liking the high position. And I'm currently super happy with the high. I put one spacer in. Yeah, I only have one spacer in there, and it feels great. So I've been pretty happy with that. But I just like, again, they just give you the adjustability just in case you want to use it. And they have all these little details like the shock mudguard. Also, this rear shock is mounted on a bearing instead of bushing, which is really nice. It creates a much more supple ride. My only really experiences with bushings and suspension are, well, on most shocks in the past, but also suspension pivots, just like on my Ibis Ritmo. Bushings last a long time, but they need a lot of maintenance. So I would rather have to replace bearings, but have them work for a longer period of time, smoother, and then replace them every so often than having a bushing that lasts the lifetime of the bike, but is not smooth and creates notchy feelings. That brings me to the bearings. The bearings are, they have axles with, I guess, collet bolts. So you don't have to over tighten the bearings or over preload the bearings so they keep running smooth. But really cool design. If you couldn't tell, like, both these bolts are unscrewed from the other side, so it's really easy. You don't have to take everything off to adjust your bike. And then I like how the fork, you can run anywhere from a 160 to a 180. So they give you that adjustability. As I said earlier, I have a 160 fork, but the bottom bracket still feels a little low, even in the high position with a 160 fork. So I might go to a 170 soon. It's just good to have that option, and yeah, they allow you to do that without being like, oh, it's gonna avoid warranty or something like that. Then also integrated headset. I don't really care about integrated headsets, but yes, it makes the bike easier to install. You don't have to use any tools. But I have had bad luck with certain integrated headsets from other companies. You would know that from other videos I've made. But hopefully this one doesn't have an issue. It hasn't had an issue so far. Other than that, I like how the geometry is pretty neutral. Like, it's not the longest chainstay, it's not the longest front end. It's just a very well balanced bike. I'm 6'1", I'm riding a size large. I could be on an XL, but this is honestly more fun and more balanced for me, so I feel a little more content on it. Then probably the last thing, this is a 170 mil P&W components dropper. Super smooth, by the way. I've been really happy with it so far. We still have a lot more time on it to see if it's as durable as a Fox. But it has a lot of seat posts showing, which is good for shorter riders who are trying to upsize on bikes. So yeah, I'm a 34-inch inseam. I got a 170 mil dropper, and this much seat post is showing. So there's a ton of room for adjustment. So I just wanted to make this video showing you about kind of all the adjustments that this bike offers. Some things I have had issues with, and some things I really enjoy. But overall, I've been super happy with the bike, unlike some of my other bikes in the past. Yeah, I'll get into a review later on. But if you guys want the quick synopsis, everyone's like Ritmo versus Santa Cruz. Both insanely good bikes. Ritmo is just slightly on the trail side, and the Megatower slightly on the downhill side. Totally content with both bikes. I would ride the Ritmo every day and be completely happy. This is just slightly more aggressive. It's not worse. It has trade-offs, so this doesn't pedal as well. So it's just the Megatower is farther along the spectrum than the Ritmo is. But I will get into detail about this bike and where it's good at and how much I like it in another video. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll get back to you guys soon.